All right, shalom, shalom. Uh, Today's little topic, I wanted to make a quick little video on men's as trees, because Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, he looking at us as plants, trees, and I just wanted to get into some of these scriptures that I got, proving that we are looking at too as trees or plants according to the Bible. All right, but first and foremost, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKadosh. Also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well for giving this 100% truth. So the topic today is men's as trees, and I wanted to go into this just showing that Yahweh, he likened us to trees, plants, and we're gonna stick to this topic. Okay, we're gonna start at Genesis 3 verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. Okay, so what does it mean that and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden? Okay, so this trees right here is not talking about literal trees. Okay, it's talking about the other nations. Okay, because Adam and Eve were not the only ones in the garden. Okay, pursuing to Genesis, let's just get that. Genesis 1. Yeah, start at we'll start at 20. And the power said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the opening, in the open firmament of heaven." And powers created great whales and every living creature that moved, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And the power saw that it was good. And the powers blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowls multiply the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So man was created on the fifth day. Okay, that's what it says. And the power said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life." So we're likening them to creatures because we are a creation. Okay, we are Yahweh Bashim Yahshai's creation, right? So we are considered as a creature. Okay, and it says, verse 22, and it says, "The powers blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply the earth." Okay, so Yahweh Shai and the angels gave that order for them to multiply. Okay, it means to have sex, to precreate. It's like a tongue twister, but pretty much gave that order to multiply, be fruitful and multiply. Okay, so Adam and Eve were not the only ones in the garden. You had other nations that was in the garden as well. So let's go back to Genesis 3 and 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh power walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai amongst the trees of the garden. Okay, so they tried to hide themselves amongst these other nations. Okay, because trees are like as a man. Okay, let's get the precept. Let's get Mark 8 and 24. And he looked up and said, "I see men as trees walking." Okay, so them trees that was in the garden, that was talking about the other nations, right? It wasn't talking about little trees. Okay, so that's how you put that together. Okay, and he looked up and said, "I see men as trees walking." Okay, So that's how you do it. You go precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Matter of fact, let's get that in 28:10, I think it is. Isaiah 28:10, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay, so that's how we get the understanding of these scriptures and how to get a better understanding what it's talking about, because you can't read this book like a normal book. Okay, so just like I'm getting these precepts, that's how you put it together. Psalms 119:104, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Okay, so how do I prove that? In Genesis 3:8, that was literally talking about the trees are likened unto men or nations, or in this context is referring to the other nations. Okay, that was in the garden. All right, so let's get another precept. Let's get Ezekiel 31, verse 4. Okay, Ezekiel 31:4. The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high with her rivers running around about his plants, and sent out her little rivers into all the trees of the field. Okay, so this is talking about Adam. Okay, it's talking about the waters made him. It's talking about Yahweh set up Adam. Okay, gave him the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And and set him up on high with rivers running around about his plants, and set out her little rivers into all the trees of the field. Okay, therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. Okay, so Adam was greater. He was the law, statutes, and commandments set Adam apart from all those other nations. Okay, boughs were multiplied and his branches became long because of the multitude of the waters when he shot forth. And all the fowls of the heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwell all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Okay, verse 8, the cedar in the garden of the Most High cannot hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him his beauty. So what it's saying is that all the other nations wasn't on the level like Adam was, okay, because Yahweh set Adam up, okay, by what? Giving him the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Giving him that breath, that wisdom and understanding that made Adam a living soul, okay, because these other nations, they weren't given that, okay, so that will set Adam apart. Okay, that's why it says the trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like him in his beauty. Okay, so these other nations, just like Israel, okay, these other nations are not like us, like the nation of Israel. Okay, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. Okay, so we prove that these trees are talking about the other heathen nations, the other nations, right? Because Romans, I think it was Mark 8:24. You see mans as trees, and right here, that's how also we know that it's not talking about little trees. It says that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. So you ask yourself, can trees get jealous of another tree? No, so it's not talking about little trees, okay? It's talking about the other nations, okay? So the Heavenly Father speaks in code. All right, so now let's get another precept. Psalms 1:3, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bring forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Okay, so by the rivers he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Okay, this rivers of water is this knowledge, the metaphor for this knowledge and understanding. Okay, so here we have to see he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. All right, now let's get let's go with First Peter. This is First Peter 1:24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withered, and the flower thereof falleth away. Okay, another example of the Heavenly Father look at us as in two plants. Okay, let's get Isaiah 61. Let's lock it. Isaiah 61:3. Let's see. Exaltation of the afflicted. Who's afflicted? The Israelites. Okay. Let's get verse 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes. And Zion's another name for the Israelites, for Israel, the nation of Israel. To give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, that he might be glorified. Okay. So another example, we're looking into trees of righteousness. All right. Let's get this last precept here. Jeremiah 2:21. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And this is going to when we get into all those philosophies and all the customs of the other nations, we turn to that degenerate plant, a strange vine. Okay, to the Heavenly Father. All right, because it says, yet I planted thee a noble vine, a holy right seed. Okay, because we were supposed to be a holy seed, a set apart. But what we do, we start following the customs of the other nations. All right, so let's get Jeremiah. It's gonna be the last precept, 11:16. Jeremiah 11:16. Yahweh Bashem Yahshai called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he had kindled a fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. So the Heavenly Father looking to us as a green olive tree as well. Okay, so I just wanted to, get clarity on men's as trees, and the Heavenly Father speaks in code. So I hope this video was edifying, and I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Bashem Rakah HaKadosh.